Mic check, mic check. Today's a beautiful day and we are back here today. Yo, what's up everyone? So welcome back to episode 6 of Honest Conversation with Sean. We got an exciting topic today. I'm gonna start the timer so we can get right into it. Let's go. 10 minutes and counting. So today's topic is why it's important to get off your mountain and why it's important not just for your own creative self, but for others as well. So let me explain. This is what I mean by mountain. I feel like a creative career is like a mountain. It's like hiking up a mountain. You start at the bottom, not knowing anything, right? And you build your way up. You get more skill, you get more connections, you get more work, and you're slowly making your way up this mountain. And our mountain in this case, the peak of the mountain is kind of where you reach that successful. You're a successful artist. You know, people know you for your reputable work. People know you for your art and your beauty and your mindset, whatever it is. That's the peak of the mountain, right? So our whole in creative career is to walk up that mountain, is to hike up that mountain to that point where we're respected, right? So what I mean by getting off your mountain is a lot of times when we reach the top, when people reach the top, they can see everything, right? That's like when you're on the mountain. When you're at the top, you can see everything. But what is hard to see is actually how far you've come. When you're on the mountain, you're looking out towards the infinite landscape, the horizon, out in the abyss. But you don't see how far we've come. You're not looking down directly at, wow, that's how far we've come, right? So that's the problem. That's the problem I want to address today. When we're in a creative career and we are at the peak of our career, of our artistic reputation, we can see other people's we can see the high level of art that is going on, but we fathom to look at ourselves. We almost never take time to reflect that, wow, this is the journey I took to get there. Because it's hard. It's really, really hard to take a step back and really just sit down and look at yourself, reflect on yourself and how far you've come. The reason it's so hard because at that stage, when you're at that peak performance, elite performance stage, it's hard to break things down back to its most digestible, back to its most basic form. Because what you're doing right now at the top of your game is complex stuff, complex art, complex knowledge, right? So that's why it's so hard to go back to the origins. But today I'm going to talk about why it's important to get off that mountain, to really take a step back and hike back down, back to the base camp, where everyone is and where your audience is, and really to let them know that we're back here. We're trying to give back now. This is our time to reconnect with our old self, not just for our own creative self, but also for the people that are waiting for us, that are watching us, that are supporting us, right? So let's break this down in 2 sections. So why it's important to get off the mountain for yourself, and why it's important to get off the mountain for your audience, for others. Wow, I really need to get some water because my throat is not cooperating today. Okay, so the reason I encourage people to get off the mountain, to get off that peak elite artistic vision, peak elite artistic reputation, status, is because we really need to take time to reflect, to see that, wow, we've come a long way. We started off just watching YouTube videos, just doing this for fun, just doing it because we're curious. Don't overcomplicate that. Don't forget why you started, right? It's important to know that because it's a way to motivate yourself. It's a way to regain consciousness into why you're doing this in the first place. If we're always in the realm of peak performance, always doing that, what's always innovating, always breaking through, of course it's amazing, but it's hard. It's taxing. It's not like we can do this every day. Sometimes we just really need to take a step back, slow things down, and see how far we've come. I think the act of reflection is like an act of looking at the mirror, right? If you don't look at the mirror, you don't know how you've changed, how you've grown, When we look in our mirror in the morning, we can see that, maybe our hair is roughed up, or, it's a lot of stuff that goes on that we can't see ourselves. That's why sometimes you gotta face the mirror. You gotta look at yourself. You gotta go back to base camp and see, okay, wow, my style has changed this much. My mindset has changed this much. And it's motivating. It's like, wow, humans are supposed to evolve. Our life is supposed to change. Growth is inevitable. And it's really interesting to see that flow, right? See that graph, see that picture. Because it motivates you to go further. What else can I explore? What else can I do with my career? What else can I do with my life? Right? This act of reflecting is really a refresh button to see, okay, well, let's refresh. Let's see what we're up to next. Well, let's see where we are, and that's what we can do, right? So that's the first part. That's why it's important for us to really take a step back and to look at ourselves. Okay, well, second part, why it's important we take a step back to Basecamp for our audience. Here, let me put it this way. I'm doing this YouTube journey, right? And I have a hard time trying to figure out what should I post next. What kind of content should I make? And for me, the problem is I don't have any ideas. Like, I don't know what's beneficial to people. When the reality is everything I do can be beneficial to people. Even the most basic stuff like shooting outdoor natural lighting. For me now, it comes like that. Like, I know what I'm doing. But back then, I didn't know shit. And I'm sure that's like a lot of the people who are doing this right now. Like, there's a lot of people who don't know how to do stuff that is hard, or like do stuff that comes mindlessly to you. Because I spent 5 years doing this, okay? It takes a lot of time, effort, sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice and stuff that I got to do this point. And if I were to give back to my community, if I were to go back to Basecamp, it would be, okay, take a step back, literally dissect what I'm doing that gets me my work. What is it exactly that I'm looking for? What is it that I need to be aware of to get to that point? Once I dissect it, I also need to make it into a digestible form of content so that people can understand, oh, this is how it works, right? This entire process of taking what you do at a high level and dissecting it down into a digestible format is an act of service to the people who are supporting you, to the audience who are always watching you. Because I really believe that if you are an artist who are capable of doing that entire process and giving back to the community, that shows that you really value your community. That shows that you appreciate your upcomings and you appreciate the people who stuck with you. I know there's a lot of talented artists out there at the peak of the game, and maybe teaching is not their thing, but sometimes I really do wish they teach, because at the high level, that's the kind of stuff we want to know about. We want to know how they do that stuff. And if they do take their time out of the day to kind of break it down, put it in a digestible format for us to watch, I'm like, wow, this guy, this girl is taking time out of the day to sacrifice their time, effort, knowledge for us to understand it and for us to potentially achieve what they're doing. So I really think it's an act of value to these other people who are supporting us, and in a way for people to see that you truly value your audience. Wow, that's a lot of words. Yeah, what do you think? Like, what do you think of people who are teaching stuff out there? People who are educators, people who are at the top of the game and also at the same time giving back to the community? Wow. I don't know, this coffee is like going up my throat for some reason. Yeah, I think this year, another goal for mine is definitely don't overlook what I've been doing for the past 5 years. Even if it seems mindless to me, it's important to people out there. It's important to someone out there. So my goal for this year, at least, is to dissect what I'm doing, take it apart, and just make it into a digestible format like this to show you guys that, okay, I know where I came from. I understand that I'm in the same position as you before. And let's take a step together. I'm gonna hold your hand and we're gonna walk this entire journey together, so potentially we can achieve what we're looking for, what we made, what I made, right? Yeah, I think that's really important. I think that's a really important way to build a community. And going back to the conclusion, right? We are here, we're at the mountain. I'm still hiking up my mountain, but I can already see the horizon. I can see a lot of stuff going on. I can see high level people. But I'm taking the time to reflect. I'm taking the time to go back down to base camp. Oops, timer stopped. I'm taking the time to go back down to base camp. I want to tell people what I've saw. I want to tell people, okay, if you're gonna embark on this creative journey, you need to watch out for this. You need to look for this. You need to understand this, because I've been there, and you should take my knowledge. If you don't want it, that's fine, but I'm telling you, I've done this for past 5 years. It's yours, it's knowledge for you if you want it or not. And I think that's really beneficial. So yeah, there's a lot of creators out there that I admire, and I really just hope they could do the same, because I want to see, because I'm not as knowledgeable as them, but I really want to see how they work. And I guess this is a way to tell them that. Get off your mountain and come back to base camp. I'm in base camp, so please talk to me, right? If any of you are at base camp, let me know. I would love to help you guys. Just comment down below what do you want to see from me. I'm so happy to do what people want to know, because I want to give back. I want to provide value, because for me, I wish someone was there for me as well when I was back then. I definitely had a lot of YouTubers I watched, snippets from here and there, but obviously I would love to be another one of those people that had a positive impact on the world. So thank you so much. Episode 6. This is the one that I really feel that is important for people out there, especially if you're already very high up in your career. It's important to give back. Yeah. So thank you so much. Episode 6. See you guys on the next one. Thank you for your support.